way. Kilo 1, be advised. We're a minute out of the crash site. Over.
Kilo 1, Broadway, understood. Video feed from Arcade confirms the hostages are no longer in the crash site.
Hey folks, Dave here, and today I want to talk to you guys about ARMA 3 DLC. And I'm going to start this off by talking about the Marksmen DLC which just came out. ARMA DLC works a little bit differently from most DLC packages in the gaming industry, and I feel like I have an interesting opinion on this because it's actually changed in the last 8 months or so. Right now, I'm approaching almost 900 hours in ARMA 3, but the last time that I really talked on a podcast or in a video about ARMA DLC was at the end of last summer, when I really wasn't super into ARMA just yet. I was mainly just playing other people's scenarios and stuff like that, just now and again. But now I am way into it. I am creating tons of missions and mod packs and stuff like that, and obviously just hundreds of hours committed to this game at this point. From all this gameplay, and from watching Bohemia Interactive release ARMA 3 DLCs, I've really grown to appreciate their DLC system. I've noticed though a very definitive split between opinions on ARMA 3 DLC from inside the ARMA community and the outside looking in. Before I dive into why I think that opinion differs so much, let's talk about the Marksmen DLC itself, which, like I said, just came out recently. The DLC comes in two tiers basically. There's a premium DLC content section. That's what you actually pay for. And then there was a large patch that came with the DLC, and this adds features and functionality that is free for everyone who plays ARMA 3. No DLC required. The Marksmen DLC comes in at $16 for the purchase price, and that's where some of the controversy comes from. That is a little bit steep. And if you order the ARMA 3 DLC bundle, it does divide out to be a little bit less. The total bundle for all three main DLCs is going to come out to $25. In the premium section of the Marksmen DLC, you have 7 new weapons, and in my opinion these have some of the best animations and textures and overall feel in the entire game. The quality is just outstanding. You have 2 new scopes with a emphasis on, of course, marksmanship at that medium marksman range. There are 2 remotely operated laser designators which can be used to spot enemy positions and call in airstrikes. You also get some new firing drill scenarios and a few showcase scenarios, including a firing from vehicle scenario. That was a feature that was added in a feature patch last year. And then a definitely marksman style scenario where you try out one of the new suppressed marksman rifles and complete an attack on a rebel outpost. So, those are your premium goodies, and yeah, that does seem a little bit steep for the $16 that you're going to pay. But check out the platform update to the game. This is where things get pretty crazy. Free for everyone is of course a massive list of bug fixes, and some new core engine features including bipod functionality and weapon resting. So you might ask yourself, okay, ARMA 3 is a military simulator, why did it not come with bipod support and weapon resting? And I think the answer to that, if I could just speak for Bohemia, would be that they wanted to do it right. They wanted it to work not only with their weapons and their maps, but with the massive amount of content that's out there in the ARMA 3 community. The weapon deployment, which is of course your bipods, as well as your weapon resting, which allows you to rest a weapon on just about any surface, those functionalities are some of the best that I've seen in any game for weapon resting. It's really impressive. It feels slick and really tightly integrated. When you put that bipod down and it locks down onto the surface and you just pivot on it, and your soldiers like actually crouching or leaning up to pivot on the bipod or pivot where you have your weapon rested, it looks good and it feels great for combat. Actually, I think this system feels more responsive than the Battlefield bipod system by far. Although, I guess the Battlefield bipod system is generally pretty broken and frustrating to work with, so maybe that's not a huge amount of praise for it. But yeah, some overdue features that I think are definitely paying off in how well they're implemented now that they're finally here. Bohemia Interactive has also greatly tweaked how weapon recoil works. They've actually introduced a system where the length of a rifle's barrel will matter for muzzle velocity. So different weapons chambered in, say, 5.56 NATO will actually have different muzzle velocities and different capabilities based on their barrel length. So carbines actually have a reason for existing now, and you have some more defined roles for, surprise surprise, your marksman rifles. Bohemia is also doing a large sound overhaul in ARMA 3. They've added audio features like building interiors, low pass filters, and attenuation of exterior sounds. And this is just the first stage of that. They also have new sound effects already implemented for a lot of the weapons, and a lot more coming. And it's all part of a overall sound overhaul. Skipping over a long list of minor additions, let's talk about my last favorite addition in this large content patch update that came with the Marksmen DLC, and that is AI Suppression. The AI now has a built-in, a baked-in, if you will, support for suppression, which means that they won't sit there like Terminators while taking direct fire, turn, and just fire right back, killing you. They do react much more realistically and much faster, from what I've seen, to incoming fire. And of course, like almost everything that Bohemia Interactive has done with ARMA 3, it plays really, really well with AI mods. Third-party support, in our case the VCOM AI, just integrates great with this new suppression system. Outside of those in-game additions, there's now a new game mode in beta testing. It is called Endgame, and I've played about a half an hour of this. It's pretty intense. It's a combination of AI and actual PvP in a relatively realistic open world scenario, the kind of thing that ARMA is just great at. And it has you capturing intelligence, setting up bases, like I said, fighting both players and AI. And I played on a server with just 4 other players, and it ended up being some of the most intense multiplayer gameplay that I've experienced in any game for a long time. I was never sure if enemies that I had spotted moving around in the city were AI players or actual human players. This kept things tense, and the scaling and moving objectives kept players in kind of a congregated area and kept things moving relatively quickly. In that endgame mode, Bohemia is also testing a new reviving system, which worked great for me multiple times, as well as a new quick group feature, which is great for getting organized with random people online. My one other teammate quickly figured out that I sent him an invite into my player group. We grouped up and were able to respawn and revive and stick together despite having no actual voice communication, just because my mic was not plugged in at the time. As far as ARMA 3 Workshop mod support goes, the file size limit for ARMA 3 mods is now unlocked. So I am really looking forward to seeing what kind of mod uploads we'll see on the workshop in the near future. So guys, there you have it. There is your premium content as well as your free content update that came with the ARMA 3 Marksmen DLC. So now I want to get back to my original topic of discussion and why I think that anyone who even enjoys ARMA 3 just slightly could drop $16 on this DLC and really feel like they're getting their money's worth. Not because of the premium content, but because of the method that Bohemia is using to keep ARMA 3 updated. Instead of splitting the community and trying to pack all of these features into a paid system, they're keeping things open and just allowing that little tier of premium content to support the main development of Arma 3 now and into the future. This is a pretty non-traditional system. You can actually load up Arma 3 right now, even if you don't own the DLC, go into the virtual arsenal and play with all the new guns, try them out, see if you like them for yourself. Even looking back at the Arma 3 Helicopters DLC, you don't have to have the DLC to fly in the helicopter or load things into it or stuff like that. You only need the DLC to fly it. Additionally, Bohemia not only doesn't block mod content that directly competes with their content, they continue to constantly support the mod community. You really don't need the Arma 3 helicopters if that's what you're looking at getting the DLC for. Those handful of new helicopters are nothing compared to what the modding community has to offer out there. There are tons more options, but with Bohemia's helicopters you get just a little bit tighter integration, just a few extra features, and the knowledge that your money is going to help support the game and keep these huge content patches rolling out. I bought Arma 3 when it was an alpha and a bit cheaper than its eventual full retail price, and I almost feel guilty about paying less than retail for it now because of just the incredible amount of hours of enjoyment that I've gotten from the game. The amount of time that I've spent not just playing with friends and trying out new features, but being able to get ridiculously creative and create scenarios that, as you guys have seen on my channel if you've been watching for a while, can range from actually going after Osama bin Laden in a desert terrain with custom weapons and loadouts like they actually use in real life, to fighting off raptors in a post-apocalyptic Chernobyl exclusion zone. Between the modding community and the base game itself, Arma 3 is really more of a platform for content than just a game. It's a launching off point for just a ridiculous amount of options. And I haven't even played stuff like Altus Life, which is a open world Arma RPG that a lot of players get Arma 3 for specifically, and that's basically all they ever play. I'm so deep into the milsim stuff and the modding and the content creation that I haven't even tried that stuff yet. Getting back to my main point, the really cool part about the Arma 3 DLC system is it's a small amount of really premium content that you can feel good about paying for because it goes directly to supporting the developers and the creation of content for the entire game and the entire community. At the end of last summer, looking forward to the Arma 3 Helicopter DLC before it came out, I was still kind of on the outside looking in. I didn't quite get it, but now I've kind of seen the light, and I can see that this is a game that I am more than happy to support, and will continue to do so in the future for sure. Let me hear from you guys in the comments what your opinion is on the Arma DLC system. Do you play Arma 3? If so, is it a lot? Is it a little? Do you like their DLC? Do you not appreciate it and wish that it was just all free or maybe more paid content that had more to offer? I want to hear what you guys think because I've obviously converted and I am 100% on board at this point, but I can definitely still see kind of how it looks from the outside, and I want to hear what you guys think. I'm going to end this here because I am deep into getting our new version of our mod pack up to date for the Casual Shenanigans Gaming Arma 3 mod pack, and I'm already working on a new mission to go along with it for my Alistar Rebellion campaign. If you guys haven't checked that series out, be sure to check out the links in the description, and I will see you all on the next video.